Hey, Captain Mike from Forbes Fishing, and in today's episode we'll be swapping out the Dexter brake pads on my load right trailer. Stay tuned for all the action. I've taken the caliper off here just so you could see some of the markings. You see here the Dexter emblem. That's how I know they're Dexter brakes. And you'll also see UFP over here on this side. UFP is the name of a company that Dexter bought some time ago. These two things by themselves don't tell you what kind of pads you need. If we flip it over, we see that the under the brake piston itself, see a marking 180328. This particular model caliper had a manufacturing change, I was told, somewhere around 2018, 2019. And there's two different brake pads that are associated with this model number. So you want to, and I'll show pictures of both of them. You just want to make sure you get the right ones. The materials you're going to need for the repair are obviously the pads, and I mentioned how there's two different styles of pads. This model number is they call it the pad set for the DB35 brake pads, and if you look at the end, they look like a kind of like a sledgehammer, and they have another style that looks like an open-ended wrench, and I'll show a picture of that on the screen. And the part number for these are, you'll see it on the box, K71 15701. And when you order them under this part number, you get both sets of pads for one axle. So there'll be two sets of pads in the box. What you don't get in the kit are these pad seats for the brakes. And these are, if you've done brakes before, you know what these are. Your pad backing plates ride in these stainless steel pads. Usually when you get a set of brakes for your car, these come with it, but on these they don't. And for these, it is 054-111-00 for this, and you get two of them for $12 approximately. Also, you're going to use a little bit of brake parts cleaner and some waterproof grease, and that's it. Let's get to work. Okay, on the back side of the caliper, you'll see these little rubber slider covers. Just use your fingernail to take the covers off the back. This one already fell off. And a 7mm Allen wrench will get it off. You can pull these all the way out. We're going to clean them and re-grease them. On the front side of the cover, you'll see it has this retaining clip. One of them is going to be a little looser than the other. Just get your screwdriver in there and wiggle it free, loosen it up, and then with your needle nose you can get it out of the way. Now you're just going to bend this down a little bit. You'll see it's going to want to rotate on the other side, which will give you the clearance you need to get it off. Now pretty much all my pads did the same thing. If you look here, there's plenty of meat on these things. I really think it's just the salt water that caused it to separate from the backing pad. I'm just cleaning those pad rails off a little bit. I think they're fine. There's Definitely a bunch of surface rust on my rotors, but it's just mostly from sitting in the driveway. If you wore your pads all the way down to metal, you're gonna have some discs that need to be replaced. I'm gonna give these lug nuts a little love while I'm here. Okay, your new pads. They'll sort of hold up in there. So I'm just peeling back the rubber boot here a little bit to see if I see any rust on the piston itself. And it looks pretty good. These are stainless steel brakes made for saltwater. Yours may or may not be in good shape. Here I'm going to use an old backing plate that came off one of the rotors, and I'm just going to put it over the piston. So that I can compress it back in. Your new pads are always going to be thicker than the ones you take off. So you're going to need to compress that piston back into the bore. These are the pins. I'm just going to hit them with a little bit of brake cleaner, get any of the old grease off. I'm going to put just a little bit of waterproof grease on here. You don't want too much. That's enough for both of them. I just want it to be able to slide in that housing. Go! Hope my dad's watching. Yeah, Dad, I'm starting them by hand, buddy. Okay, back to the front side of the brake. We just need to put this retainer back on, and it needs to go over this portion of the caliper, and then you're gonna, with your needle nose, just rotate that other piece in, and we're good. Get rid of my greasy fingerprints. Okay, I'm going to put some anti-seize on all my lug nuts. This will lubricate them, but also keep them from getting all cruded up and allow you to get them off. use the torque wrench on these when I get it to the ground. That was the lowest setting on the gun, really just to snug them up so I could get the whole thing back on the ground. All right, that was the process on one. 3 more to go. I'm not gonna make you sit through that though. Hope you enjoyed this content. If you did, please hit the like button. Consider subscribing to my channel. Thank you, and tight lines.